Hello everyone, and welcome to the Dice Cast. I am Russell S.A.N, and with me I have...
Fishman.
Well, last we left off, our band of adventurers had grouped together with...
Intrepid heroes.
Don't think we're quite there yet.
Oh.
Banded together with the civic powers of Lakeside to deal with Father Gregor and the cult of Mithras, once and for all. As a prelude to them leaving the Plateau. During said confrontation, a third party arose, a sorcerer claiming to be from the Court of the Seven, as of yet unknown group. The sorcerer, Zork, and his army of monsters waged a battle with both sides, during which time the Zork's forces were destroyed, and he was slain, as was Father Gregor and a few cultists. Sadly, the alderman of the village, Ivor, also perished in this fight.
Yep.
Following this, realizing now that the plateau was actually in danger from a definite group that had plans to enslave and colonize it, Aquans and Jonas decided to follow in Bree's footsteps and leave the plateau. And we left off just after we had floated down to the base of the land below the plateau, where we found a pile of bones and the land that lay ahead. And I think that's the important elements that happened last time.
Yep.
So I'm down a spell slot.
There's one other important thing.
Yes?
Father Gregor got one shot in.
Oh, yes. If you did not see that, go back and watch it, because it actually was quite the moment.
Yes, our big villain that we had to deal with on the plateau before we felt safe leaving the plateau and going off into the world. One shot.
One spell, second round, instant kill.
Oh, well.
So, I'm going to be handing it over to you.
Yes.
Here.
All right. Did I cast Featherfall, or did you?
I did. So I'm down a first level spell slot.
I can have that back then. All right. For those of you who have not watched any of our previous episodes, we are now third level.
Yep.
And newly fledged. I have picked up the spells Mirror Image and Invisibility.
Oh, we're actually revealing what we picked.
Oh. No, you don't have to if you don't want to.
Well, that's fine, because I am going to want to look for a spell component for one of my new spells. One of the spells I picked up was Misty Step, which has no component, but my second one, Locate Object, requires me to find a forked twig. So the first thing on my mind is probably finding that to add to my component pouch.
So as we have finished floating down, and we're standing at the bottom, or the base of the plateau.
Yep.
The plateau has experienced, weathering and, just has been here for a long time. So the base where we land is actually a pile of rocks.
And bones.
And bones. Not too many bones, because it has been 30 years since a successful person was executed here.
Yeah, they can't say that anymore.
Yes. So they are old bones, definitely well bleached and broken, and animals have fed on them. All the stuff that you would expect at the bottom of a pile like that. Off to our left, which is towards the north, there is a nice waterfall. And this now leads down into rolling grasslands, hills, and rather small to medium-sized groves of trees. And that is the immediate area off the plateau. And from my little scouting mission with my owl, we know to the northeast is a town which we don't know the name of yet, but it's quite sizable. We have spotted it in the village for little plumes of smoke that go up every now and then. Not very obvious. Some people in the village have noticed it, but we, being people who want to go and see the world, pay particular attention to it. We had the atlas as well, which doesn't show anything there at all. We decided that's the best place to head off to, and that's where we sent Bree. Yes. So we're going to go check on her and hopefully have some adventures. That's our current plan. we're leaving all the politics of the plateau behind and heading out into the wide world. So,
I mean, half the politicians are now dead, so...
yeah. And
yes, however, as I mentioned, my first order of business is finding a forked twig for my new spell. So, do I have to roll for this, or can I just walk over to a tree and take...
Alright, in the immediate area, it's kind of just rolling grasslands, but 300 or 400 yards off, there's a little stand of trees.
Okay.
We can walk over there, and you can find yourself 500,000 twigs.
It has to be a forked twig.
Oh, that's impossible then. Roll a 20-sided. If you roll a 1, you're just not having a day. I'd just roll a 1.
See, now I have 4/10 saved up. So I can guarantee...
Oh, good God, no! Roll the 20-sided.
Can I have advantage because you're assisting me, or is this just a straight roll because you want to see?
I'm not helping.
Oh, good. 14? What check was this?
Doesn't matter. You didn't roll a 1. I think with your abilities to search or just perception or whatever, you find a twig in short order.
Okay, I'm going to note that down on for my component pouch.
It will take a little bit of twiddling with a knife to, get it down to size and in a condition that you would like, but it is easy enough to do.
Okay.
Well, our first task at 3rd level is complete.
Yep.
Let's head on.
So the immediate area is mostly rolling plains, hills, and some sporadic trees. So we must have a pretty good view of the area. We'll be able to see for quite a while.
All right. The first copse of trees, we go around or through, doesn't really matter. It's a very small one. Maybe a quarter of an acre in size. Once we're on the other side of it, we're on a little bit of a hill. Then you can look around. You see a small stream, which is the result of the waterfall. And it is coming down and it's heading off. Actually, roughly in the direction we want to go. So you can actually just follow the stream if you like. And what you see are the odd small herd of deer. They usually stick closer towards the trees because you have also noticed the odd lone wolf when we're up on the plateau that hunts around. There's no real packs of wolves down here that you've noticed yet, but you don't know for sure. And the other interesting thing that we hadn't noticed before is there's wild horses down here.
Oh.
And they just run around through the in the fields themselves. They don't. The deer are a little bit more not skittish, really, because they don't. There doesn't seem to be an awful lot of humanoids down here. At least we haven't seen any yet. But they stay away from us.
That's not true. You saw some of that garrison, that ruined garrison.
Oh, that's a long way away from here. So anyway, yeah, it is idyllic. Which is kind of funny because Father Gregor says this was, the underworld.
Considering what he thought was a paradise.
Yeah. So I take it we're just going to head off in the northeasterly direction?
Yes.
All right.
Because we did not come down on the eastern side of the plateau. We came down from the lakeside, which was south.
So we head northeast.
Yeah.
And to make the first day a little bit more, or I should say, a little less time-consuming, the first day is actually quite uneventful.
Do I need to roll a survival check to make sure we're going in the right direction?
No, because we have the plateau as a reference at this point. So as long as we can see the plateau, which we should be able to do for the first probably 2-3 days, I think we're fine. But once we get further than that, yes, we're going to need to start keeping track of direction. But that's a big honking, well, it is a reference point. So
it's a massive rise in the land that we're probably going to be able to see for miles on the plains.
Yes, so for the first couple of days, I won't make you make any survival checks for that. But
okay.
For later on, we'll have to see.
I would like to look around, though, as we travel. So
yes. So as we're traveling along, I do want to make the first day a little bit quicker because I mean, we have familiars.
Because we've probably seen the first day of travel from the plateau, and there's probably not a lot there.
Exactly. This is not anything that's new to us, and in our almost 20 plus years of life,
I think
we
my
have not
character's
noticed.
21, I believe.
There's nothing really has ever really showed up besides the stuff that came to the plateau itself. So
We'll just say my character's 21, because I'm pretty sure that's what I decided on originally, but we didn't bring it up much.
yeah, that's fine.
During the first day of travel, I'm going to take out the small knife I use in my writing kit, and I'm just going to whittle the twig down to be the usable shape. And stick it in my component pouch.
Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to have my owl fly in a circular pattern above us.
Okay.
Keep an eye out. And because you're whittling, I will make sure you don't step in any, go over holes or trip over any branches. That sort of stuff. So the first day goes by ideally. It's lovely. The weather's beautiful. It's getting a little later on in the afternoon now. The sun is beginning to set actually behind the plateau because we are on the eastern side of it. And it's not dark, but it's going to be dark soon. We come to a nice grove of trees, nice deciduous oaks and maples and that sort of stuff. And we decide this is where we're going to camp.
Okay.
This is where you get to do your first survival check. Okay. We are going to need to make some form of shelter because in our brilliance, we did not buy any tarps or tents or anything.
We don't even know if there was a place to buy those.
Yeah, we don't. But we don't have any, and there's definitely, coming from the east, a large bank of clouds. So I think it might rain. No. I would like to roll a survival check.
Okay.
With advantage, because I have survival as a skill. You have nature.
Yes.
And
I assume this is a group effort.
Yes. This is going to basically decide how good our shelter is going to be.
All right, let's see. Well, thank you for the advantage.
I got rid of the 1?
No, it got rid of a 3.
All right.
So the other one, so this is survival, is a 19 plus 3 is 22.
Oh, this is a good shelter. We have a lovely lean-to with lots of branches, and of course, to help keep the water out, we have layered on some conifer tree branches, which have nice needles and will help deflect the water. We got a good fire going, and we are going to spend the night. It's getting dark at this point because it will take a couple of hours to put such a structure together. We did a wonderful job. You know it's going to rain soon because you can just smell it in the air. And I would like you to tell me how we are going to spend this night.
All right, well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reach into my component pouch and take out the tiny bell I have on a silver thread, which is the material component I use to cast my alarm spell. And I'm just going to ward the area around our campsite in a 20-foot square, which is the most I can do with that. And I'm just going to cast alarm, so I'm going to spend 10 minutes doing that. So we're alerted if anything comes within our campsite that might do us harm.
All right. Anything else?
I assume we're going to have a meal.
Yeah. We have a fire. We can heat up some water, put some of our dried foods into it, make a bit of a stew. That part is all fine. Mark off 1 to 2 meals for today. And we will... How are we going to spend the night? We're just going to sleep and rely on our familiars and the alarm spell to give us warning, or are we going to take shifts?
I'm carrying a ridiculous amount of food on me.
Yes, I have like 3 weeks worth of food.
Yeah, I do. That's 63 meals!
Yep. Well, not anymore. So.
That's why our new bags of holding are holding currently 25 pounds.
Okay. So, in answer to my question.
Yes.
How are we spending the night? Alarm spell?
Yeah, the alarm spell is up.
Yeah. Familiars
Our
watching?
familiars are going to be on watch. Your
And
owl probably in a tree. Alice probably in the lean-to with us because she doesn't want to be out in the rain.
See, that's why owls are better. And are we going to sleep in shifts at all? Or
That is why you think owls are better, not the fact they can fly.
because they'll sit out in the rain. Yeah. And not whine about it. So, shift? No.
Sorry?
Shift sleeping, yes or no?
I'll ask you, do you think that we need to sleep in shifts, or do you think our preparations are fine?
What a waste of a roll. I think because it is our first night, I think we should probably be a little extra cautious. Because we're not entirely sure if there are, things that are going to be out here crawling around in the middle of the night. And this way, at least, we can keep the fire going.
Okay. I guess I'll take first shift then.
Sure.
So I assume there's going to be a perception check involved in this.
There's 2 checks involved.
Okay.
I would like first for you to roll a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh dear.
To see if you fall asleep or not.
Well, that's a 15, so I don't think so.
All right. With your +4?
Yeah, 11 plus 4.
All right. And now perception check, please, with advantage.
With advantage because of my cat.
Yes. Well, actually, no. Sorry. That you don't have dark vision, so just regular roll with your cat, please.
Do you want me to re-roll? Because both dice came up with the exact same number.
That's fine. What's the number?
Well, it was a 17 plus 3, 20.
All right. Not a problem. Your cat will inform you from time to time during the night that there's definite movement out in the grass. It could be deer. It could be horses sometimes. And then the odd time, I think she knows the scent of wolves because we've had them up on the plateau.
Yep.
Once or twice, she thought a wolf had passed reasonably close by, but avoided it because of the fire.
Okay. And I will obviously try and take any amount of wood I can to give to the fire. Just not my
With that roll, that survival roll you had done, you got enough. You got enough wood.
Okay.
And by the way, at this point in time, it is raining quite hard.
Okay.
Oh, but again, you rolled a really good survival roll. You have the fire set up properly, the lean-tos in the right order, the wind's blowing from the right direction. Everything is just perfect. And even though you like the water, you're staying relatively dry.
Okay.
All right. Your shift goes by uneventfully.
So I'll wake you for your shift and then go to bed.
All right. So let's see if I stay awake. Oh, yeah. That's an 18. Wasting all these lovely rolls.
Constitution, a very useful stat to have when in survival situations.
All right. My owl has very good night vision. Hasn't reported anything. And my shift goes by uneventfully. Morning begins to come.
Okay, so
We are now. The fire is dead. It's very difficult to gather enough fire for an entire night. We would have to spend a whole day doing that, and we did not. But we have enough of a little wall going there that we can get another fire going for breakfast. It's up to you.
yeah, I have new portents.
And your spell slots back.
Yep.
And take off another meal.
Yep.
Well, at some point, probably in the next week, we should probably think about gathering some food. But it's not an immediate thing, but if you want at any point in time, let me know if you want to look for wild edibles, and we'll make a roll for that.
Carrying 60 meals worth of food on my person currently.
Yes, I know. Like I said, it's not an immediate problem.
True, but the number did go down in one day, so...
Exactly. Pretty soon, like in a day or two, it's going to be down into, the 40s. So, a couple of days, we're going to be down. And depending on how much you eat, of course, as well. 3 meals fine for you?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see. So 3 meals a day doesn't take long. Within a week, we're going to get down into some lower numbers. But anyway, that's not important. New day. Everything is wet.
Yes.
Not us, which is nice. The rain has stopped. It's a little overcast still, with clouds in the sky. The sun is rising in the east as it should, and it is light enough now that we can see, we've eaten. What do you want to do?
Alright, well, after we finish our meal, and the fire is obviously out because that's usually a safety thing. Don't leave burning
I
fires.
doubt the forest rangers are going to be by, but yeah, we don't want to burn down this little copse of trees. That would be bad. There's plenty of puddles and things that we can slosh into the fire to put it out.
Yeah.
Actually, wait a minute. There's another way we can do it now.
Oh, you want me to?
No, we don't have to.
Okay, fine. Just to be perfectly sure, as a water genasi, reaching 3rd level, I gain my connection to the element of water. It's a bit stronger, and I have a new innate spell to use. Alright. I am going to cast Create or Destroy Water, but I'm going to go for Create, obviously.
And I will fill my water skins at the same time. All right.
Okay, so I can create rain to come down in 20 gallons of clean, fresh water within range. Yep, falls in a 30. Yep, so sorry. Yeah, the water falls in a 35-foot cube, extinguishing all exposed flame in the area.
All right. I will fill up my water skin at the same time.
Yep.
Or my 2 water skins.
Yep.
And then the day is ours.
And I cannot do that again until our next long rest.
That's fine. Unless, of course, we actually need to use it for
Yes, unless we actually can possibly use 20 gallons of water later in the day for some other reason. Nope. We use it now.
Yeah. All right. Enough silliness. We travel through the woods because we camped on the western side of it. It is a small copse of trees. Once we get to the other side, we've noticed that while we've been traveling, the grass has actually gotten reasonably high. We are of average height for humanoids, not like about 5. Well, you're 6 what?
6'3".
6'3". All right, you're tall. I'm a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
It's about knee to mid thigh.
I think you're only a few inches shorter than I am.
Yeah, I'm a bit shorter. So we get to the other side. We notice there's actually a fairly expansive patch of
tall grass.
Yeah, and it's all tall grass. We continue to walk along for a little while, and then something odd happens. The grass goes from really tall to really short, almost like in a line.
Something has...
Perception check, please.
Just a straight roll?
Straight perception check. No advantage. Nothing.
21. I'm rolling well.
All right. The perception check was not for the cause, because the cause is really, really obvious.
Oh, it's here.
No, to the north, there is the largest herd of animals you have ever seen. They're roughly cow-like in look. They're quite kind of a woolly brown color. They're quite tall. Their shoulder is almost equal in height to ours. You suspect these things are probably each weigh about 1.5 tons. They're not small animals.
Oh, wow.
And you could not count them all, because they're about maybe 300 or 400 yards away the herd begins, but it continues as far as you can see. There are, who knows, that was actually a good perception roll. probably 1,000,000 of them.
Million?
Oh, there's like a huge number. You can't even imagine how many there are. It just
You are correct. I cannot imagine how a million is because I've never seen a million things in my life.
exactly because this thing, like I said, this herd is truly massive. And the reason I got you to do the perception check is, well, bovine animals, as they graze and move along, they leave little piles here and there.
Oh, joy.
And if you had rolled low, I was going to have you overwhelmed by this, and as we walk along, you step in something.
So I assume they're grazing the fields.
They're grazing the fields down to nubs.
I'm not quite sure that's the right word. Decimating might be more accurate.
No, actually, grass is still fine. They don't kill it, but they do graze quite heavily, and of course, all those numbers, they have padded it down quite a bit. But grass grows from its roots, so the grass will grow back, and it's been well fertilized on top of it.
Yes. 1,000,000 of these things.
Yep. You want to roll a nature check?
Oh, sure, why not?
Maybe things.
14.
Rand has told you about these. These are bison.
Okay.
They're truly massive, and he has told you about them because every now and then, like when this herd moves, the earth shakes. I mean, it was really impressive to him. Seeing how you rolled very, very well on your perception check, you notice one other thing. On a little, this copse of trees that we've just come out of, to the north, near the top end of it, there is a bit of a rise, a fallen tree, and sitting on that is a truly large cat.
Okay, a large cat.
Cat. As in, well, you can do a nature check for it if you like.
Might be too far away, but okay.
It's a bit far. It's going to be a hard check.
17.
It's hard to say, but it is not small. It is of a size sufficiently that you think it might not be able to take down one of the bulls, but a young yearling, it's definitely here for a meal.
Yeah, okay, that's nice. How big is it compared to us?
Hard to tell at this distance. It's quite a ways off, and you don't really have enough in the way of perspective on it. It is... We could be a meal, no problem at all.
Well, not to the bison, I imagine.
Yeah. I mean, we are smaller than a yearling of bison. Let's just put it that way. And you suspect that's what this thing eats.
Yes.
Or, of course, a calf and that sort of stuff. So, yeah, it's this thing. It's stretched out on a log, almost sphinx-like, and it is watching the herd. And the herd obviously hasn't noticed it yet because, well,
they've not ran away.
Yeah, there's not been a stampede yet.
Though, admittedly, they probably wouldn't, with 1,000,000 of them, they may not need to run.
Yeah. So, we can't go north because that's where the cat is and where there's just way too many animals. And we head east.
Yeah.
In the distance, you see immediate distance, like about maybe 400 or 500 yards away, there's a small a small hill with actually a lone tree on top of it, and a fallen tree beside it, and a couple rocks. And further away, probably getting closer to the mile mark, there is definitely much larger woods and more hills. But this whole area is mostly just grassland, with the one lone tree in the middle. I don't suggest we head up too much into the open if we can avoid it, but that is our
open.
line.
If there's 1,000,000 buffalo between us and that cat, there's no open. We can just go around them and we will be unseen.
All right. So you want to just head for the distant trees?
I think that's the best bet. Just keep going the direction we're heading, going around the
You don't have to go around the bison because...
I think we do.
Well, they're a couple hundred yards off.
Yeah.
They're not actually near us at all, relatively speaking. So, head east.
Yes. We continue heading east, avoiding the large cat creature and the impossible number of buffalo.
All right. So as we head east, we go about, probably about 3/4 of the distance to that hill I mentioned. And at this point, you hear a really large roar.
I look in the direction of the roar.
You see that the cat now is standing up, stretching, and it has roared really loudly, like in an undulating roar. And the bison have responded as you would expect from bison. They are all now in a panic and are heading away from that roar.
Yes, but the important question is, are they heading towards us?
Yes.
Why? There's got to be other directions to go in.
Oh, they're heading in all directions.
Oh, this is not an ordered panic.
There's no such thing as an ordered stampede, I don't think. But as far as you could tell, there's at least several thousand bison heading towards us. Obviously, the whole herd can't head our way because it's truly massive.
Okay, well...
Now, you have only one option, I think, at this point, and that is this small hill has a really good-sized tree on it, and this fallen tree with a rock, and it doesn't really show well, but we're close enough now. You seem to think there's a bit of an entrance under here, like it's created almost like a little cave with a rock and a fallen tree.
Okay.
The only structure nearby.
Structure might be pushing the matter, but yes, we rush towards that hill.
Okay.
To avoid getting trampled.
Yes. This is going to be a sprint. So I would like you to roll a Constitution check, please, to see if you're awake enough to make it to this without, winding yourself.
Okay, I am going to use one of my portents and hopefully succeed here, because one of the ones I rolled when we just finished the long rest this morning was a 16, so I'm going to add my +4 Constitution to give that 20.
All right. Between your 20 and my 19, we're in good enough shape to easily get to the hill.
Do not take chances when there are about 10,000 buffalo stampeding in your direction.
Yeah, probably be a bad time to roll a 1. All right, so we're going to ignore that. Oh, there we go.
So as we rush there, I see where life flashes before our eyes in panic, and we see Lakeside.
All the wonderful events in the last little while.
All the wonderful events that happened in that place.
Yeah. This is not an accurate one as well, but you notice that the tree is on a slant because it's resting on a boulder, and behind it there is a large oak tree. Underneath this is a bit of a gap, and you notice that there seems to be a small cave. It is probably, we're running, so you can't really get a perfect look at it, but you think it's deep enough that there's no way the bison's going to be able to run down it or anything. And the other option, of course, is you can climb the tree.
So my options are to climb the tree or to try and squeeze into this hole?
Yeah, the hole is not going to be a squeeze. It is actually quite... Well, you're going to have to bend over. It is... it's not 6 feet tall. It is probably about, say, 3 to 4 feet at the entrance, and probably about 2 feet to 3 feet wide. It's a good sized dugout hole almost, but it does seem to be rock, not soil. There is some soil in there, but it seems to be mostly rock. Maybe at some time in the past, something dug a den here or something, but it's not currently occupied.
Alright, well, I think going into this little hole is going to be easier than going up that tree.
Well, it certainly won't require a dex check, at least.
Yeah, easier.
So we see this opportunity, and we dive into the hole as several thousand bison go herding by, and Ren was right, it literally shakes the ground. And it's quite interesting. It's an experience. One you will not soon forget. While we're standing there waiting for this to go by, something interesting happens. There's another roar, And then picture some prophet, like Moses maybe, standing there beside a sea. Well, in this case, it's a sea of bison. And all of a sudden, the herd splits, and there's now a path between, well, both stampeding piles of animals and a really large cat.
If there's one thing I hate, it's a show-off.
And he's stealthily, not stealthy because he roared,
No.
he's sneaking very cat-like towards us. He's about, maybe 50 yards away at this point.
Do I know what this animal is yet?
You can roll a nature check now that you can see better.
20 total. No, sorry. 22 total. I forgot to have my proficiency.
Right. Again, in Ren's teachings and the books we've read, you've heard of a cat that looks like this. It resembles a saber-toothed tiger.
Oh! Okay.
This thing is large. It stands taller at the shoulder than we are. It can easily, you can tell, it is meant to take down these bison. But there's a little bit of a difference. It does have, what you expect, cat eyes. But you notice how sometimes most cat eyes are not like this. These are really almost like liquid gold in color. They're quite vibrant. And the other thing that's quite interesting about it, it has obviously the two big tusks.
The two saber teeth that they're giving its name.
The reason it has this name. But the thing is, you're fairly certain that they should be like teeth colored, like kind of an off-white, like a bone color. They're not. They're yellow. But not a yellow as in, I haven't brushed my teeth in the last 3 weeks kind of yellow.
Because I imagine a cat never brushes its teeth.
Exactly. It does scrape it on, bones and stuff, but anyway. It is actually a yellow, a liquid gold yellow that matches its eyes.
Does it also match its fur? Like its appearance?
Its fur is actually just brown color.
Oh.
Sorry. Brown's not right. It's more of a tan. It definitely blends in very well with the color of grass that's around here.
But not the same color of gold.
No.
So that rules out that this is another one of those summoned creatures that those stones we've found could conjure up.
No, there's none of that. You can do an arcane check if you like, but there's no sparkle around this or anything. It doesn't have any of that look of those stones we cast that have that almost like a crystalline look to it. No. Everything about this cat looks like a cat, except 2 eyes and 2 fangs.
And it is also coming directly at us, so...
Yes. It is too big to fit in the hole.
Ah! Good.
You think?
I think.
I suspect, you can tell me if you do want to do it otherwise, but I suspect we'll probably want to get as far into the hole as possible.
I'm going to do one thing before that, and that is reach into my component pouch and pull out the phosphorescent moss in there, and sprinkle that on my staff and cast the light cantrip on it so we have a light source.
The hole is not deep enough for there to be a light problem, but it might be an interesting way of distracting the cat.
Also, it may become an issue if this goes in too deep and it's actually a cave. But yes.
No, we are at the back of the cave at this point, and the cat is at the front of the cave.
Okay, well, nevertheless, I've cast light cantrip on my staff, and then I'm going to follow you into the hole, all the way into the back.
Okay, so we're now getting to the point where we're almost pressed up against the back of the wall, as this cat is now trying to squeeze its head and body, and it's reaching out with one paw to try and snag something.
How close is that paw to us?
I'm going to find out.
Oh, joy.
You can feel the breeze as this thing goes by. It is trying really hard to get closer to us, but not succeeding. So as we press ourselves against the back of the wall of this cave, you hear a click.
From behind us, I assume?
No, your foot has stepped on something, and it went click.
No, not again, I say to myself.
And the whole back of the cave poof, falls over. I would like you to roll a dex saving throw, please.
Oh, it's falling towards us.
No, it's falling away.
Oh.
We are falling backwards at this point, depending on the save you make.
Natural 1.
You say natural 1?
Yes. This has taken me completely by surprise, apparently.
Alright.
Though that may not be very surprising, given what's in front of me.
You fall backwards and tumble down a bit of a hill.
Oh no, I've seen this movie!
I don't lose my footing because I rolled really quite well, but there's a big cat in front of me, so I'm quite happy to follow you down the hill. It is a tunnel. I get to look at it because I'm vertical. It is roughly about 6 to 7 feet around. It is earthen. There's rocks on it, and there's a bunch of other stuff I'm going to describe in a minute, but that's not the most important thing. As I help you back up to your feet, and we look back up the hill a little bit, because it is actually a slope that you roll down, the cat has shrunk down in size a little bit. It is now getting a little bit smaller.
It's a magic cat! I say.
Yeah. You can roll our cat and check it out if you want.
Natural 20 to make up for the natural 1.
You've never heard of this before, but you definitely know there's magic involved. It steps in.
That was the biggest waste of a natural 20 ever!
No, you don't know what this thing is. Oh, I'll give you a little bit of a hint later on when you see the next step. It slinks its way over that, well, rock slab that you fell down and through, and then stops. And then there's a shimmer, and it transforms into not a very tall humanoid, but the humanoid is all dressed in black robes, has its arms, whatever, inside sleeves, and a hooded cowl up. It's not a fabric as far as you can tell. You roll really well in Arcana, so I'm going to give you this. It seems to absorb more light than fabric does. It's definitely a true black. And the only thing that you notice that is consistent still, it has 2 glowing gold cat slit eyes and 2 fangs pointing down. They are now actually glowing because you can see them. They're lit up. And it lets out this really annoying little cackly laugh. Turns around, looks at the slab that had just fallen, and it goes sealing off the tunnel. Fortunately, you have a light going, so we can see all this. And it turns back around to us, and then shimmers and disappears with that annoying, cackly laugh.
Okay, so not my first thought when I saw it change, which might be some sort of druid, because we've encountered... We know there are no druids are capable of turning into animals. Leah was able to turn to wolves.
Yep.
I imagine one would be able to turn to something like that, but... So I have no clue what that was then, really.
Not an entity you have heard of. It is now completely quiet. You are in a tunnel, still sloping down a little bit. You have a light source.
Yeah.
I suspect I am going to do the same thing with my staff, so you have a little bit more light.
Yes. So some sort of trickster, I think to myself. I'm going to go up and examine where the slab was, because
Okay.
that is obviously the way out of here, and I want to see if there's a way of opening it from this side.
Roll an investigation check with advantage, so I'm definitely going to help you.
Okay, 23.
You don't find a thing.
I was afraid of that. This would not be a very effective trap otherwise, I say aloud.
Yep. And while you're examining that and you just come to that conclusion, you're a truly annoying little cackling laughter.
From which direction?
Seems to permeate this place.
This thing is... Oh, well, this is annoying. So there's no seam, and there's nothing visible on this. So there's...
Yes, there are seams.
Okay.
This is a rock that's blocking a tunnel. And you see the seam around it. There just isn't... Well, for that roll, you know there's just no mechanism from this side to move that rock.
And there's also no gap that I can see through, because I require... I need to see where I'm going for Misty Step, so that doesn't work. So I can't teleport to the opposite side to try triggering the mechanism to get you out.
No, there's nothing to see. You, it is a solid face. Well, besides the crack, but there's no light coming through it.
Alright, I say, well, annoyingly, we will have to proceed and endure the long dark of this annoying tunnel.
Well...
Not quite Gandalf's speech, but it'll have to do.
Yep. So you turn around and face down this slope.
I don't see that cat thing down there, I guess.
No, there's no cat. Alright. You can't see a whole lot from up here because it is roughly about 50, 60 feet to the bottom of this slope. So I think we'll have to head down.
Yes.
Alright, so you head down. As you're getting closer to the bottom, you notice a couple of things. First off, all this tunnel, it doesn't remind you of something that was constructed. It looks like a rough earthen mixed with stone, almost, I don't know, maybe like a mole would dig kind of thing, but not something a human would have done, or humanoid.
Okay.
This is not something that people went at with picks and shovels and, bracing with branches and beams and stuff. This is almost like a dugout tunnel by some sort of large burrowing creature almost. And the material it's going through is an awful lot of rock on the walls, but there's also soil and a fair amount of moisture, and there's definitely lots of roots poking through, and also some mushrooms. Mushrooms seem to be giving off a fair amount of light. So you don't think you actually need to see the light source that we have going. But there's one other thing that you notice. The floor, once it levels out, has a layer of mist on it.
I say, alright, so with one notable exception being that door, this appears to be a natural cave.
Yes, until you get to the bottom. Once your feet are about to touch into the mist, you'll notice that this tunnel is not a straight tunnel. There's branches on it. There's other side tunnels. At this point, also, because there's enough ambient light, we'll call it that, you notice something else. About 40 feet ahead, there is what looks like an earthen humanoid without a head, with arms that have reached around the neck and probably strangled to death a corpse, because there's a human-ish, hard to tell now because it's kind of rotten, that's been strangled to death, and it's just being held there by this headless humanoid. It seems to be made out of rock and earth, and you notice not a very pleasant smell.
Okay. Well, that's an unusual sight, I say.
Yes. About 20 feet on this side of it, there is a side tunnel heading to the left. And just before this spectacle, there is a tunnel heading to the right.
Okay, well, I think we should avoid that. I say, pointing at the headless statue for all his verbs with my staff, just to avoid becoming the replacement.
Okay.
So I'm going to head down, but I'm going to tap with my staff into that mist, just to...
Alright.
As we approach, I'm going to head towards the nearest branch from this tunnel.
Okay, roll an investigation check, if you like.
15.
You notice at the bottom, in the mist, is It's like it was before. It feels the same. But you can't really see it because there's a good 6 inches of this swirling around.
I think to myself, oh, if only I had not wasted my Creator Destroy Water spell, which can destroy fog.
Oh, really?
You knew! You knew!
That was not planned!
No, but you still knew.
Okay. We are now about 20 feet. You can part to the north, or the left. The tunnel continues on. It goes quite a ways. There seems to be a couple branches in that direction as well. But before I get to that, you see that spectacle still in front of you, which is pretty much solid. Like, nothing's changed.
That's
But
good.
another 20 feet beyond that, this girl pops out from a side tunnel. You can roll a perception check if you want a bit better description than I'm going to give you, but...
Okay. So that's not... Okay, that's not a 1, it's a 7 plus 10.
Alright, so this is the description you get. She looks a little... well, she's dirty. She's got smears of mud on her. Her clothes seem a little bit torn. Her hair seems to be quite matted. And she's got a rather wild look in her eyes. And she's holding 2 sticks. The stick in her right hand seems a bit broken and has something wrapped around it. The one in her other hand seems quite solid, actually. It seems really nice. It has a crystal in the bottom of it. She points the first of these sticks straight down the corridor and mutters an incantation that you're quite familiar with. It is Magic Missile. 3 bolts of energy shoot out and impact that solid rock and mud.
Oh, it's not naming it me, okay.
And she has this really wild look in her eyes. She doesn't like the fact that nothing's happened. You notice that, there's some dirt and a few bits of gravel got knocked off this thing.
Yeah.
But not much else has happened. She points, a few seconds later, she points the other wand and says a single word, and 3 more bolts of energy shoot out of this and strike into the earth golem. Let's call it that because that's what it looks like. And then the wand she was holding crumbles and isn't there. She shrieks, looks really totally frustrated, and then heads back into the tunnel she ducked out of, which is further on to the north, and heads that way.
That's it. Okay, so we are not alone down here. We have... I say... I don't know, some strange woman wielding some magic wands. This is wand now.
A wand now, yes.
Alright, she was attacking this thing. I look at the thing I was already avoiding and come to the conclusion I want to avoid it even more.
Okay. Alright, so you are standing at a junction. It's a T-junction for all intents and purposes at this point. To your left is a tunnel heading, well, we'll call it north just because it's easier that way. Heading north for about 30 feet, and then it branches off as well. And then if you were to continue towards this interesting-looking
Tableau.
About 10 more feet, there is a path heading south.
I look to you to say, I'm not sure about you, but I don't really want to go near that statue for all intents and purposes.
Yep.
It's clearly killed someone, and someone else was trying to kill it with magic.
No effect.
And nothing happened.
Well, bits of dirt fell off, flew in the air, rocks may have crumbled a little bit. But
So apart from the fact that apart from the obvious effect of hitting a statue with magic missile, nothing happened.
Yes. Everything about that happened as you would expect, except her demeanor seemed quite frazzled, and she definitely looks like she's experienced enough to, tear her clothes, get dirt smeared all over her. She's been through something, and for some reason, this tableau has affected her psyche somehow, and she is truly not happy about it.
All right. Well, so I can see to the end of this section that's heading north for all intents and purposes.
No, you can't quite. Well, actually, sorry. Our light spells aren't illuminating well enough to see the end. But because of all the glowing mushrooms around here, you can actually see about 60, 70 feet down, it turns east. And before that, about halfway down, there's another earthen tunnel that heads east as well. At this point, you hear a blood-curdling scream. And it dies off in a gurgle.
Oh, well, that's not a good sign.
Roll a perception check, please.
13.
Hard to tell. It could have been coming from in front of us, or it could have been coming from our left. So either north or east. It echoed around a little bit, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Well, in that case, I think we should proceed with caution in the direction that we were already going to go.
You also hear at that time, once the gurgling stops, a little cackling laughter.
Yes, someone is pleased with themselves.
Yes, someone is pleased with themselves. Alright, how are you going to proceed as you walk up this corridor?
Well, the first word is definitely going to be cautiously, and the second is going to be I'm going to summon Alice to my side just to make sure that we have an extra pair of eyes, ears, and nose.
Alright, so I will get my owl out as well.
Okay.
And he'll sit on my shoulder.
Okay.
Where is Alice going to be?
Just 5 feet in front of us. So basically just proceeding in front of us as we walk.
Alright. Okay. So you get to the first T-junction on this northerly path.
Yep.
There's something heading east, and you look down. It's actually a relatively short, say about 30 feet long. But there's something different about how it ends. It seems to have a glisten to it. All the other parts of this tunnel so far have mushrooms sticking out of it. The mushrooms are glowing, maybe a little bit more slimy. But at the end of this tunnel, it is definitely shiny. And maybe a little drippy. It's hard to tell. You can roll a perception check if you like. What? You got a smirk on your face.
Natural 1.
You have no idea what
I
it
have
is.
no idea.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
It
Okay.
just looks like wet rock almost.
Sorry?
It almost looks like wet rock. Or, sorry, wet earth and rock.
Okay, well, I'm going to pick up... I assume are there any stones around here?
All over the place.
Okay, I'm just going to pick one up, and I'm going to throw it in that direction and see if anything happens.
Roll me a dexterity.
Oh, it was so much better. So that was a 2 plus 1 for 3.
Alright. It's a bit of a ricocheting shot. But it does eventually roll to the end of the tunnel.
And nothing else happened.
Nothing else happens.
So that is the direction we want to go in if we want to...
You have another direction. You can head that way, but you can head north another 20 feet, and there's another tunnel heading east.
Okay, let's go take a look at that, because there's something about the way down there that I'm not trusting.
Okay, so you head to the end of the tunnel as it turns east. I would like you to roll another perception check for me, please.
Okay, 19.
It's hard to tell initially, but very quickly you notice there seems to be a humanoid. It's very hard to tell because it seemed a little bit like it was in a fog for a second. And it's not walking, it's just sort of hanging there in the air. And it is slowly heading towards us. Because you rolled so well, it is the young lady. She's no longer screaming. She's no longer moving. But she is moving towards us.
She's floating, in other words.
Yeah. Yes. What would you roll again?
19.
Within about 10 seconds of this, maybe 6 seconds. Yeah, about 6 seconds. One round.
Yes.
You figure out she's not floating in air. She's floating in something more viscous.
And you were wondering why I was smiling earlier.
You rolled really well.
Do I know what this is? Sorry, does my character know what this is? Because I know what it is.
Roll a nature check.
Okay, this one die has rolled the natural 1, the 2, and now a 3.
You're not.
That's...
Your character does not know what this is.
So that's a total of 9.
Okay. We are currently about 40 feet away from this thing.
Alright, well...
It's not moving very fast.
No, but having seen this sight and just on instinct, I think I'm going to just fling my hand in that direction and send a blistering cloud of frostbite at this thing to see if it reacts at all to my cantrip. So that's a Constitution saving throw.
It rolls an 8.
Alright, so that's a fail.
That's a fail.
Takes 4 points of cold damage.
Okay. And yes, there does seem to be a response to this. Almost like a shaking shudder. As instead of the corpse getting frozen, you see in front of it there's a patch that becomes quite opaque for a few seconds as the jelly-like substance solidifies and then gradually melts.
It also has disadvantage on its next attack roll.
Let's go for initiative.
Which I somehow doubt is going to happen. Your favorite monster.
Of course. What'd you get?
I have a 10.
You are light years ahead of the rest of us.
Oh, what'd you get?
Well, the gelatinous cube, which is not, by the way, rolled a 2.
The gelatinous
I
cube.
rolled a 1.
A natural.
A natural 1. I am going last. It's not a jelly cube.
Okay, well, it's taken 4 points of cold damage.
Yes, it has. And it is now waiting for your next action, basically.
Okay, so it's not moving very quickly.
No, it hasn't moved at all yet. Well, it is moving, but, in D&D terms, it is sitting there waiting for its turn.
Great.
We are at the corner.
Yeah.
So if you move anywhere except towards it, you will no longer have a line of sight.
Yes, so I'm going to try damaging it again. Well, it killed that woman, but I still don't know how big of a threat this is. I'm just going to hit it with frostbite again.
Alright. Roll an 18.
It shrugs it off.
And it shrugs it off.
And then I'm going to move back.
Hey.
My 30 feet.
Leave me standing there, that's fine.
I think you're going to back up too.
It's 40 feet away. And... Hold on a sec. My character has no clue either. I am going to send a bolt of fire at it.
Okay, so you're hitting with fire bolts.
It moved roughly about 15 feet towards us.
Okay. Well, I can't see it at this point.
No. And I easily hit its terrible armor class.
Yeah. You're saying it's not a gelatinous cube. It's acting like a gelatinous cube.
And I do 6 points of damage to it.
Okay. Obviously, I cannot tell if it reacted to fire worse than it did to cold, but...
Because you can't even see
Because
it.
I cannot even see it. I just see you throw a firebolt around the corner and do not look frustrated, so I assume you hit it.
And then I join you. The next 6 seconds, you have free choice to do what you want, except you can't target it with anything.
No, I cannot. But I can ready an action. So I'm 30 feet down the corridor. Okay.
Yep.
I'm just going to ready frostbite because I don't want to waste any spell slots just at the moment.
Alright.
So I'm just going to hold my staff, which is still going for my light cantrip, and at the end of it, I'm just going to hold the cantrip so there's a billowing, vaguely spherical cloud of frost forming on the crown of my staff as I wait for the creature to come around. And as soon as I see this thing, I'm going to release my cantrip.
Alright. It is quite slow moving. And your cantrip fizzles because the 6 seconds have gone by and nothing has happened. I, at this point, decided to do the same thing, go up with firebolt and wait for it to show up.
Alright,
You're at the top of the round, so you get to decide what you want to do again.
I'm just going to repeat the same process, just to hold it and see what happens.
Alright. The 6 seconds go by, and your cantrip comes to an end. Oh, sorry. Wait a minute. It lasts the full round, right? Until your next turn?
It comes around to my turn, yes.
Alright, your held action's fine. Yes. As the... Well, basically all we see is the opaque-looking, now mostly dissolved young lady rounds the corner. And we can both shoot off our spells.
Okay, so Constitution saving throw as part.
It fails! Yeah.
4 more points of cold damage. And disadvantage on attack rolls.
And 8 more points of fire damage.
Alright.
The funny thing is, because of the way this works, that was my held action from my last round.
Yes, so then and now your turn is up.
Now my turn is up. I'm going to back up 30 feet because Firebolt has a massive range. We're only 30 feet from this thing at this point.
It took it 2 rounds to get into that range.
Yep. And it takes 6 more points of fire damage.
That's 28 so far by my count.
Yes.
Alright.
Now it's your turn at the top of the round.
I see no reason not to break with this process. Frostbite.
It rolled a 13
That's total?
total.
14 is my DC, so it fails.
Alright.
Ooh, 6 points of cold damage.
Alrighty.
And then I'm going to come back and join you. Well,
It is now up on its round, and it has reversed direction.
I don't think it likes the damage it's taking.
It has now disappeared around the corner. Oh, it took an awful lot of beating there.
Yeah, it did.
What do you want to do?
Well, you're up after it.
I'm not going around the corner. I'm going to stand my ground.
Okay.
hold a firebolt as an action. We're 60 feet from the corner at this point, so...
So 60 feet is the range for frostbite.
Yeah, we are basically back at the other, the first branching of the tunnel. That's where we are now.
Okay.
And are you going to do anything as the round begins?
Well, I'm just going to hold frostbite for the moment to see if it reappears. Probably won't, though, I do not think.
Alright. Speed things up. That full round goes by. Nothing has happened. We're not dropping out of combat because we can't, just sit in combat forever. Holding actions.
Yep.
We have three possibilities. We can go back up the tunnel 30 feet and then check out that slimy patch. We can go all the way to the end and see what that is going on about. We can head towards Mr. Gruesome, or we can take the other tunnel heading south, which is about 10 feet away from us.
Let's look down the south passage before we make any decisions.
Yeah, hold on a second. Wow, I'm full of suggestions today. I rolled well enough. I have a point of order I'd like to mention.
Okay.
This thing's really slow, but really hard to spot. If we lose track of where it is, we are likely to smack our faces into it at some point.
Like she did.
Like she did. We might be running away from something else. We don't know.
So you think we should try and kill this thing then?
That is my suggestion.
Okay, well, we can move faster than it, which means we can cover the ground faster.
Yes. The only danger at this point, I suggest, is if we turn that corner and it's just sitting there waiting for us.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's head down to where it turned around. Went around the bend.
Okay.
And let us see what happens, see what we see.
So Alice is still... so we're proceeding as you said before, and Alice is 5 feet ahead of us.
Yes.
So she reaches the corner before us.
Yeah.
Roll a perception check, please. For her.
Is this scent-based?
I'm going to have to say no.
Okay, that's still pretty good, 21.
Alright. She sees it, but it is about 50 feet down the corridor.
Alright, well then I will round the corner.
Yep.
And hit with frostbite.
Let's roll initiatives, just because we will have to at some point.
I'm not keeping that.
Hey, I made 10.
I have a 12, so I'm going up.
Let's see what it has. Ugh, terrible. You are first again.
Okay. Well, I declared before we entered combat that I was going to turn the corner and hit it with frostbite.
Alright. It fails.
It takes 1 point of cold damage.
Alright. Not really noticing that. That's what I get for dissing your spell.
What?
I did 2 points of damage with a fireball.
Alright,
It is apparently taking damage,
yes.
but it doesn't seem to be in any great distress yet.
But it is a cube of a gelatinous substance.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, it is fitting into a relatively, oval shaped.
Oh, so it's not a cube then. So gelatinous oval.
Something like that, maybe.
Alright. Is it just leaving?
It is... Well, it is not its turn of initiative.
Yep.
And... it seems to be trying to speed up.
Okay.
It is using its action to move, and then it is using a dash action, I guess.
Yeah.
It is trying to get away from us.
That is moving how quickly?
With a dash, it is moving a total of 30 feet.
Okay. So it's
And
fine.
at this point, you notice it turns to a southerly direction tunnel and is out of our line of sight.
Alright. I say, alright, this is taking forever. I'm going to point my staff at it, and I am going to take advantage of the fact that we are now 3rd level. I am going to cast Magic Missile, a 2nd level spell. So I get...
Oh, you can't see it at the moment.
I will move up 30 feet if I have to.
You have to move up 50 feet to get to the corner.
I will move up 50 feet to get to the corner.
Alright.
That's
You
my
see it.
action.
Yeah, and your dash, so.
Yeah.
It is now...
Your turn.
it is now 15 feet away from you.
Yep. Ah, I see.
Yes.
It's also now your turn.
Yes. I join you.
Ah,
But I can't see it either.
no.
So, let's see. Oh, that's interesting. It stops, sensing us nearby, and moves 10 feet in our direction, and this blob of jelly swings out toward us.
At which one?
I'm gonna figure that out! Oh, it's me, evens you. Oh, me. It is me. Good God, why do I bother rolling?
Your creatures do not like you.
I know. I figure I created them. I should die. Alright, it's gonna roll to hit me. I'm not even gonna bother. What is it, got +4 to hit? That's a 21 to hit me.
Alright, so shield is not going to help.
No!
Your trend of trying to kill yourself with your own monsters is continuing.
Yeah. Alright. Let's see how much this hurts.
That was a lot of dice.
That was a lot of dice. I take 7 points of acid damage. Ow!
Oh, I'm suddenly far less concerned.
Well, that didn't roll well.
Yeah. Anyway, this is uncanny. Whenever I have a monster and I roll to see if it actually does turn out to usually be random. Whenever you roll for a or just either randomly hit, it's always you.
I'll just have it hit me. It is now within melee range of you. What do you want to do?
Alright, well, slight alteration to my previous plan now that it's gotten that close. I am going to cast a 2nd level spell at it. But because it's so close, I think I'm going to go with Frost Fingers.
Oh, there you go. This is a spell you've only recently in the past fired at the ground to scare off some peasants.
Yeah, I haven't really used it much. Alright, so it's a 3d8 at 2nd level. So it's a Constitution saving throw on this creature's part.
Alright. It rolled a 3.
Fail. Full damage.
It only rolls well when it's trying to hit me.
Oh, so there's some good... Oh, 2 good and 1 middling. That was fine. That's going to be 16 points of cold damage. And a 15-foot cone. So if there's anything else in there, that also takes the damage.
You stretch out your hands a little bit because you don't want to stretch them out too far because it's 5 feet away from
I
you.
usually use my staff, but whatever.
Alright, and you set up this blistering cold, and when the crystals all fade from view, you see a solid wall in front of you.
So, it's dead?
No movement. You're not sure, though, of course. You can poke it with your staff if you want.
I will prod it with my staff.
It is not moving, and you start seeing cracks form in it, and it starts to lose its integrity as it melts and pools. It is now defeated.
Okay. I say, well, that was not too bad.
Yeah. So.
How are those acid burns?
Ow! That was not fun! Alright. Now that the battle's over, I'll give you a description of where things are. We're standing at, if we put our backs to the wall, a east-west passage. We came from the west. To the east, the passage looks a little bit different here. There seems to be an awful lot more branches or roots or something that are actually moving a little bit in 50, 60 feet of corridor that you can see. They seem to be wiggling around a little bit. To the south, there's a puddle of goo on the floor. And the passageway continues south. And then there's a branch to the east, and it continues south.
Okay.
You know, with your intelligence, that this is the corridor that the young lady ran up.
Alright. Which is more likely than all the other corridors to currently be vacant.
Yes.
So I say we continue in this direction. Oh.
South?
Well, first, I'm going to try looking through this gelatinous creature. And
Yep. You want to poke through and see if there's anything of interest in there?
yeah, why not?
Roll an investigation check. With advantage. I'll help. Alice doesn't want to help.
Sorry?
Alice doesn't want to help. Get her paws gooey.
Alright, well, with the higher of those was a 5 plus 4, 9.
Alright. You find a rather decomposed human female.
I presume melted is probably the better term, not decomposed.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Digested is probably the correct term.
Yeah, but she looks kind of melted because, gross. She was not wearing any armor. She was wearing clothing. It is all in a horrible state of, disrepair before she ran into this. It is now even worse.
Yeah. It's scraps of
It is a truly disgusting sight.
Yes.
And that's all you find.
Well, not much we can do for this person, I say.
And you hear a truly annoying at this point little cackling laugh.
I say, well, you are disgusting, I say to the air in general.
Right.
I assume there's no response to that.
At the moment, nothing. Alright, 20 feet down,
Yep.
there is a corridor branching off to the east, and then it continues south. So we're going to head south?
Yes, we're following the path that this thing was going.
Alright.
Yeah.
So we'll head forward. I'm going to assume that we're going to continue in the same way of progressing until you tell me otherwise, alright? So
Yep.
Alice is going to be 5 feet ahead after you lift her over the goo.
Yep.
And then we'll proceed that way. Okay?
Yes.
That's good? Alright. So we get to where it turns south.
Yes.
Sorry, we're heading south, and then there's a passageway to our left which heads east. And it goes about 30, 40 feet, and then it turns north, but it can't go too far because there's a corridor we just left, so it might end in an alcove or turn further east or something. You can't tell from here. And then, of course, it continues south, goes about another 20 feet, and it comes to a T-junction heading east and west. And to the west is where our lovely little tableau is.
Well, let's avoid that, but let's try continuing the direction that she headed.
Okay, so you don't want to head to this passage heading east at the moment. We're going to ignore that and head further south.
Well, what's down that passage?
It goes down about 40 feet. Again, with the... I'm not going to bother describing every time. There's no difference in... Wait a minute, hold on a sec. I know one of these is different.
Yeah, the way out.
Yeah, no, it's the same kind. It's the same rough-hewn tunnel.
Okay.
So there's nothing different about this, except it only goes about 40 feet and then turns north, and you can't really see anything in that direction.
All right. Well, I'm going to have Alice go go down that path and look around the corner. I'm just going to perceive through her eyes to see what's down there.
Okay, I want you to roll a d6 for me. Tell me if you roll anything besides a 3 or a 4.
I rolled a 4.
Alright, Alice trips down the corridor and looks to the north.
He's never asked me to do that before.
And the corridor seems to end in, like the wall ends. So it is kind of like a, it doesn't end flat, it seems to end in almost like a curve, like all the other corridor ends do. There's no abrupt square angles in this place. It all definitely looks like either an anthill kind of thing or something dug this out.
But nevertheless, a maze.
Yes.
So I don't see anything of note down that way?
While you are looking through her eyes, you can roll a perception check if you like. I can't
Sight-based. So no
give you
advantage.
What? Sorry?
Sight-based, though, so no advantage.
No, it's
5.
you see nothing.
Okay.
Nothing of note.
Alright, then I will have Alice come back. I'll pop out of her mind, and I think we should continue the direction this woman was heading.
Alright. So we'll go about another 10 feet. And then the corridor ends. It heads back west where we came, and you see that lovely little tableau. And it then heads in the easterly direction. It continues quite a ways. Beyond, well, you can see, but I'm only going to give you details for the first 30 feet because we have that good light. And then it gets dimmer and into the glowy mushroom aspect of it, so you can't really see, but you know it continues. There is a passage heading south about 10-15 feet ahead of us. That way. I would like you to roll a perception check, please. I know you love doing those. No advantage or anything, you're just seeing how observant you are.
18.
You notice that this corridor has some webbing in it.
Fresh webbing?
It is... well, actually, this is reasonably well lit. There seems to be dust in it. There seems to be new threads as well. It seems to be a mix. You roll quite high that perception check, so...
I'm going to say, Joy. It's a large web, and we've already encountered one giant spider.
Oh, you mean on the plateau?
Yes, we did encounter one.
That's your description.
Webbing is flammable, but then again, we are in a confined space.
Breathing the same air.
Yes, so that may not be the best option for us to set it afire. So this is the direction she was heading in?
Where we are standing right now, at the crossroads,
Yeah.
this is the tunnel she popped out of, fired her 2 shots at the tableau, and then headed back in the direction we just came from. We don't know anything else about her travels, so she came from the tunnel that we are currently standing in.
Okay, and this is...
To the east and the south, we don't know anything about that.
Okay. So, which way is the web?
If we head straight east, we'll walk by it, because it is a southern passageway about 10-15 feet further on the south side.
Okay, so the south way has that webbing.
Yes. We could continue east and bypass that corridor if you want.
Yes. So, just
Hold on a second, I gotta check one more thing here.
Okay.
Alright, I'm ready.
Alright. Because this place is a literal maze, I just want to try and recall the path we've had so far, we've followed so far. So behind us is the direction we came from, so we definitely have not explored anything down either of these two passages.
No, if you look west,
Yeah.
and you can, obviously, when you look past that tableau, you can see the slope that you tumbled down, we came down.
Okay.
And then we've done a bit of a box, and we'll call that box in the upper northwest section of this.
Okay.
So everything toward east and south we have not been near yet.
I would say, well, that webbing could... There's something could be past there. Of course, it could just be a giant spider. It may not be worth the risk looking down there. What do you think?
Hard to say.
I think for the moment we should avoid it and continue down the other path.
Alright. So we're going to head east. At this point, as you're passing by the southerly corridor, you notice that the corridor that we're heading into, the eastern corridor ends in a T-junction about 30-40 feet ahead of us. I would like you to roll a perception check, and because Alice is helping out here, I'll give you advantage.
Two low rolls. 12.
Alright. You don't notice as a section of the wall pulls away from the wall and reaches out to grab at you.
Oh, dear.
Actually, maybe. Hold on a sec. I'm not sure why I'm rolling.
Oh, right. It may go for you.
Or Alice, for that matter.
I have a hard time struggling. I guess not.
No.
I have a hard time catching it.
I shouldn't have said that. I rearranged my numbers at the last second, saying, well, no, this thing's not intelligent, and she is out front.
Is it going for my cat?
Yes. The only other target that seems more popular than me, this humanoid rock and earthen thing.
So, resembling the last one.
Except this one has a head.
Okay, so this one's probably alive.
Reaches out and is trying to grab at your cat. What's the AC of your cat, please?
12. Hang on, before you roll.
Yep.
Oh, it's a 9. 9, that's my portent. That's so close. It's probably not worth it. Okay.
Not going to give it a 9?
I mean, the average to hit, for bonus, for almost stacks to hit is +3. So. No, it's not worth it. I'm sorry. Sorry, Alice. Is that a hit?
I rolled 11.
Together?
+2. +2.
Oh, so... Oh, come on!
Don't make these numbers up! And I probably should have told you because you feel bad now.
The one time that would have worked.
Reaches out, grabs hold of your cat.
And does how much damage?
Squeezes the life out of her. She is no longer with us.
That's the second time!
Yes. We can go for initiative now.
How much damage was that?
I suppose it doesn't matter. It did 8 points of damage.
So double her hit points, yeah. She's dead. Just to add further insult to injury, my initiative total is 9.
Or 9's 1.
Again?
Roll another natural 1. It has a natural 20. Alright! We are apparently relatively surprised still by this thing being around. And it is now going to attack one of us, seeing how it has managed to destroy a cat.
So angry.
Odds me, evens you. Evens! Oh, finally, not me. Oh, sorry. I am happy about it, though. It's going to roll to hit you now. It rolls a total of 16 to hit.
Even with shield, that's my armor class. I need to fight. I need to increase my armor class somehow. This could hurt.
Sorry, what?
This could hurt.
It is 6 points of damage.
Ow. And is this thing choking me?
No, it can grab and choke you, but not with that roll.
Okay.
What it did now is it just grabbed at you, and you got hit basically with an earthen rocky club in the side of the head kind of thing.
Ow.
Yes.
Alright. I now know it doesn't have very good attack bonus. So it's my turn next, right?
You're up next, yes. And dead last.
I was like, alright, this thing's made of stone. Cold may not affect it much. I'm gonna hit with a magic missile. Just at first level.
Roll away.
She was using the spell on them. Let's hope this works. Okay. Not bad. 11 points of force damage.
Oh, very good roll. Alright. You notice it seems to be doing more damage than you think it should.
It's weak to force damage.
Rocks and bits and pieces are flying everywhere.
Okay. I assume it's gonna be the normal roll for vulnerability. That's actually 22 points of force damage.
Yeah, it's got cracks in it.
I don't know if this helps at all, but having seen the last one, I aim for its head.
Well, that's half its head is missing. It is still standing.
It's still okay.
It's still it doesn't respond
To pain.
as if it's in pain. It is being basically taken apart,
Okay.
but not in the sense of like, "Oh, that hurt, don't leave me alone," kind of thing.
I'm not going to risk an attack of opportunity. I'm going to stand my ground.
All right, seeing how
Force damage affected it.
I am going to follow suit because that looked really good. I roll a 1, and a 3. Oh, God. 5, 8, 16 more points of damage.
Even a low roll, vulnerability is good.
The head explodes.
Okay.
And it stops moving. It is now kind of like in mid-pose to swing. The head's gone, and it's immobile.
Alright. One thing about this is odd. I say to you.
One thing? Only one thing! Oh, I'm glad it's only one thing. What's that?
Yes, there is one thing that is striking me odd about this. She was casting a magic missile at those things, but it was headless. It was inert. It was dead. What is this? What is this thing? Do I know what it is? Is this an elemental of some sort? Does my connection to the element of water help me understand this at all, or is...
Alright, I would like you to roll 2 rolls.
Okay.
First roll, I want as a general intelligence roll.
Okay.
And I want you to roll an arcana check.
Okay, I'll roll them separately.
Okay.
Okay, straight intelligence was 16.
Okay. From that, you gather that she is snapped. Something about her demeanor and how she was responding. She was thoroughly traumatized by something. Not sure, well, besides this place maybe.
Yeah.
And she was not in her right mind.
Yes, I can understand being possibly trapped here for a long time might do that to someone.
You figure also that the corpse that was standing there, that was strangled, it was not recent. It has been dead for at least a few days.
Could possibly have been a friend. Alright, now the Arcana check.
Arcana check.
Oh, that's far worse. 11.
Obviously, some form of magical construct.
Or an elemental or something, yes. I guess.
You're not sure. If it was a summoned creature, it would not still be here.
Oh, that's true. If it was from another plane of existence, its body would probably be disintegrating at this point.
Yeah, so... But with that roll, you don't really know any more than that. It is definitely just a statue in the middle of the corridor now.
And I say, and that's for killing my cat!
Honestly, you put it in my head. It was not my fault. I rolled randomly.
I say to the air in general because I can't really blame
Oh,
it.
sorry, my bad. You hear, and once the thing stops moving, you hear that truly annoying, mild, cackling laughter.
I can see that possibly driving someone insane after several days.
Alright. The corridor. Mm-hmm. Make sure I don't touch that thing again. I'll move that over that way. Continues another 20 feet. And ends in a T-junction heading north and south.
Alright, I guess we'll proceed to that junction.
Alright. I would like you to roll a perception check. Is your kitty... Oh, your kitty cat's not here. Sorry.
She's been dead for all of 2 minutes!
I already forgot about it. Oh, that's just bad. If we're going to continue this style, I'll have to have my owl hop in front of us.
Yes! So a different familiar can risk their life.
Alright. The good thing about that is my owl gets an advantage on perception checks.
Which means this is not my perception check.
Alright. We stop. As my owl approaches it, and it immediately hops back. I say something is to the south and is coming north. I only had a quick glance at it, but it's quite large. It's definitely humanoid in shape, but it is hunched over a bit because it's taller than the 6 to 7 foot corridor that we're in.
Oh, well that sounds like something you do not want to run into in a T-junction. I suggest we back up a bit.
Alright, as you're backpedaling a little bit, around, it's coming up from the south, and it turns and looks at us. You see, it is actually a large creature. It is hunched over quite a bit. It is similar in appearance to what we just fought, but a lot more plants are interwoven in it. It seems a lot more animate, and it definitely seems to have some perception of us more so than that little rock golem thing that we just fought. And it looks at us. It is now waving a tentacle or arm with tentacles on the end of fingers, like roots, towards us.
Oh!